Hi, I'm Mary Jo Stoutberg. I'm an artist. I'm a graphic designer. I studied for graphic design and illustration. And now I went through a phase where I created jewelry and with like old antique buttons and old lace and all kinds of old things. I love old things. And now I'm doing abstract art. And I've gone through different phases of abstract art. And I still dabble in some of those things when I first, the things that I did when I first started. A lot of texture and using a lot of implements, a lot of repurposed items. I love that. I love to see it. I love paintings that make you want to touch them. And most of mine, it's okay if you do because the stuff is pretty well cemented onto the canvas. But I love to see three-dimensional, deep crevices, highs and lows, with shine and dark places, and when paint seeks into crevices and cracks, I just love that. So I began doing that in 2006, and I started on a journey for myself. I had basically retired from the art world, and I started painting again because I believed that it was a therapeutic thing for me to do. I was on like I said, a healing journey, and so painting became something I did for my not only my therapy but my coping mechanism. I come from if you saw me from the outside, the past was pretty normal looking. I seemed like a normal girl that grew up in the 60s and the 70s. I graduated high school in 1974. Of course, that was the age of a lot of, oh gosh, drugs, sex, and rock and roll, right? And unfortunately, I stumbled on some of those things in my past. And I was tired of being a good girl as I was all through school. And so when I became 18 and I went to college, I went to an art school and I met a lot of folks that were similar to me. And I started to experiment in a lot of ways that, I look back on them and I wish some of them I hadn't done. I know now that they were not good, healthy choices. But I also know now that God was always there to protect me. And I thank Him for that. Not because I was more special than anyone else, but because I believe He had a path for me. He had something for me to do later down the road at a time in my life when most of this stuff would eventually hit me and not make me, but cause me to feel as if I was a failure. And I think God wanted me to rise above that slowly but surely and show myself that I was not a failure, that God loved me, that whether I did something or didn't, if I got married or not, whether I found someone to love me, none of that mattered as much as the fact that I was loved by the Father. And so He let me go for quite a few years and do my thing. And I was pretty good at doing my thing for a while, and felt empowered and felt strong, and I felt all the things that I didn't feel when I was a child growing up. And it wasn't until I was married and I got to be in my 30s, I started realizing, there's something about my childhood that must have caused me to feel like I was a big failure, or feel like I had to change my course and become like the world in order to be accepted. And I knew that I had been sexually molested. I mean, that wasn't like some secret inside of me. I knew it. I didn't share it with my family, but I knew it happened to me. But see, I handled it because I handled it I just didn't think it had anything to do with any choices that I was making later on in my life. And boy, that was a big lie. So I'm at a place in my life right now where I'm working from home. I'm fully retired. I still do my art as quote unquote a business, but it is not. I'm collecting Social Security, so I want to sell my work for a completely different purpose than I ever did before, and I want to show my work for a different purpose than I ever did before, because it's one of hope. It's one of it. It does not matter what your life looked like. Once you finally realize the truth, you come to a place where you are settling into who God created you to be. It isn't anymore about being well known, having my name out there. It isn't about being hung in galleries and huge price tags on my paintings. And I'm not saying I'm still not trying to do those things, but those things are not what's driving me. Those things now are not, I was putting the cart before the horse. I realize now that what is important is that I came to realize that I mattered enough to God, that despite I did all the things and the crazy stuff that I did and the detours I took before I reached this point in my life, He never left my side, and He had a plan for me. And I believe that plan now is for me to share my story. I think this is a really important time for people to be willing to tell a testimony, not just dump, but also show hope and encouragement, and that so much of this is about authentic, safe community. I can find all kinds of people that are willing to listen to me, hear me, agree with me, give me high fives. Yeah, I've been there. That whole thing of, oh, yeah, we're really cool because we went through that together. But now what it is it's people that they can look at me and see me for who I really am and know that I was a hurting, really in pain woman who just didn't know who she was and believed a lie that I had to be something completely different in order to be acceptable. And that is the biggest lie. And so many people are hearing that. And I see so much of that, especially now. So I want to share my story. And I believe that's what God wants me to do. And it's been scary, and I'm not going to lie. I've been putting this off. And there's been a series of events that have happened over the last several months, and I just know this is the time. So that's why I'm going to be making these recordings. And I don't want to go live because these are intense. And my mind, I have been diagnosed with ADHD, which isn't uncommon for someone who's been through a lot of this stuff and the lifestyle and the creative brain that I have. So I have to be very focused when I'm talking about these things so that I make sense. Because if anything happens and there's a distraction, I lose my train of thought. And so what I want to do is a series of videos that explains who I am, where I've come from, give my testimony, show my artwork, and eventually I want to get to where I do go live and I chat with people or answer questions or have different workshops, because I would love to teach people how to do some of the type of work that I've done, because it has helped me so much. It's a great coping mechanism. It's so much better than that glass of wine or that second or third or fourth one. It's so much better than stuffing my face with food that makes me feel awful the next day. And believe me, I've been there. I've done those things. So I just really want to encourage you, and that's what I'm here for. That's why I want to do these videos. So have a blessed day. Know that you're loved. Know you're not alone. And just keep putting one foot in front of the other one. 1 foot at a time, 1 step at a time, 1 day at a time is such a great saying, and it's so true. And stay true to who you are, and be connected to the Father because He loves you. He's right there with you always. So that's it for now, and I hope to see you again. I hope that you are able to join me again and learn a little bit about what my journey of hidden hope has been. Take care.